And video log number 5. This is actually the most important video log I think I've done so far, as it relates most to Hungarian culture and society. This video log will be about Hungarian culture, rather the questions that I was asked by ISU. So one of the questions is, what are the differences between the US culture and Hungarian culture? And I'd have to say that there are some definite differences. For example, people won't do small talk here. Small talk is non-existent in Hungary. If I'm shopping in a local grocery store and I'm buying items, I don't speak Hungarian, so it's a good thing they don't try and make small talk, but the people here will not speak to one another in the grocery stores or anywhere else because it's considered an annoyance, rather, which I actually view as a good thing, because when I go shopping, I don't like to be bothered. I just like to get my things and get out. So it's nice that no one's slowing me down while I'm in there. Another difference I'd have to say is people here are much more educated on the world, I think. And I believe that has to do with the education that Hungarians receive versus people in the United States. People in the US, I don't believe, are taught as much about the world or other countries in the world, and I believe that Hungarians, or rather most Europeans, are actually learn quite a lot about the world, different countries, different cultures, and the workings of all of them. And I think that's an unfortunate side effect of being an American, but ever since I've been here, I have learned quite a lot. If people are interested in learning Hungarian, I would first tell them to be careful, because it is an incredibly difficult language to learn. It's ranked the second most difficult to learn after Mandarin, and that's because it doesn't have any other cousins or related languages. It's entirely own language, and nothing else has any similarities with it. Some linguistic experts said Finnish is related to Hungarian, but if a Hungarian and a Finnish person spoke, they would not be able to understand one another. So learning the language, I know I know the basics, and that's all I really need to know. I'm taking a Hungarian language course, and that's going okay, but it is pretty difficult, I won't lie. And if you are interested in learning Hungarian, the locals will appreciate it. But when it comes to phrases, I can't really think of anything. All I can think of is the please, thank yous. Köszönöm is thank you, and they say köszi, which I think is cute. And then hi and bye is see ya, like see ya, see ya. So hi, see ya, bye, see ya. It's pretty cool. So do's and don'ts of living in Hungary. Definitely check out some of the architecture, some of the buildings in Hungary. When I'm trying to think of things culturally, however, not just buildings, and I'd have to say that just don't try and talk about the United States too much. People are well aware of the US, and if you come across as an ignorant American, that's not going to look good on you whatsoever. And if you're from the US, you have a different, I think, people have a different thought of you than if you're from another European country, because you're an ocean away, first and foremost, and also the US does play a very active role in the world scene, whether or not you agree with that. And so I think it's important to keep that in mind when speaking with a Hungarian or any European or anyone outside of the United States, for that matter. I haven't gotten involved in any clubs while in Hungary, or ESKA, that is, and it's mainly because ESKA does not offer any. I think if there was a club I was automatically in, it was the travel club, since I've honestly been going somewhere every other weekend, which has been great. At the same time, however, I wish that I had spent more time in Budapest so far, and that's what I plan on for the month of April, is staying here more and not traveling as much and getting to see the more touristy things in Budapest, because I just simply haven't had time to, because I've been away. Overall, if I'd have to describe US versus Hungarian culture, I actually think it's more similar than that of Spain. I was just in Spain, and Hungarians operate similar to the Germans, I like to think, and the Germans are very on point with things, and I think the Hungarians are very similar to that. And I think that the Spanish were a little more laid back. Not saying that they weren't hardworking, but to say that the working hours were different. And I experienced that while in I experienced that in Madrid because the store hours were completely off, for me, that is. The store would close at 2 p.m. and wouldn't open until about 6 p.m. And here in Hungary, that's not at all the case. The stores are open a lot of the time. And I think a lot of the reason why Hungarians, in my opinion, are very similar to the work ethic or just kind of expectations of what you need to do throughout the day are similar to that of Germany is because the two countries have a very close relationship. I believe 25% of all Hungary's exports go to Germany, so there's a huge reliance upon the German economy. There's a saying that if the German automobile industry is doing well, like Volkswagen is doing well, then Hungarians are doing well because a lot of Hungarians actually work for German car manufacturers, and I thought that was really interesting. That's it. Thank you very much for your attention. I'll see you next time.